Hi everyone, it's Andrew Jackson at the Chiropractic Clinic, and I wanted to do a video really on the importance of the neck. Obviously your whole spine is important, but ultimately to understand the neurology. And what does that mean? The density of neuroreceptors in the neck is so huge compared to any other part of the spine. Now I'm not saying neglect other parts of the spine, but if you're going to concentrate on one area of the spine, look after your neck. Obviously, if you think about it, it's holding your computer up, your brain and your head. It's a very weak structure if you think about it. Also, it doesn't have much stability around it, doesn't have big thick ribs like the thoracic spine, doesn't have big musculature like your lumbar spine. It's a very weak structure. However, it's close to your brain and your brainstem. In fact, the upper part of the neck, right where it joins the brainstem, is a very vital area for controlling vital function, heartbeat, breathing, etc. And that's vitally important for life. Also, the top three vertebrae in the neck, C1, C2, 3, density of neuroreceptors in the muscles, the ligaments, tendons around that area are so dense, so much more dense than any other areas, basically giving feedback to the brain in terms of healing and function. Thus, we have to look after your neck. We want good curves in the neck. We ultimately want that curve in the neck because gravity is pushing us down, holding the head up to be at approximately 40 degrees. That's the ultimate healthy spine. What does that do for us? When we have a good healthy spine, gravity's dealt with, we can walk, we can run without excessive stress to our spine. It's going to allow our joints to move well, it's going to not put too much pressure on our discs, and that's what we want. We want to look after that neck. We should use one pillow, we should try and have an orthopedic pillow, and we should focus on that. Again, we don't see it. However, in our clinic, we have digital x-ray facilities. We often take x-rays of people's necks, even if they come in sciatica, they come in fibromyalgia, they come in with all kinds of chronic conditions. People neglect that neck. That neck is so vital because it can so easily get out of position, which we call a joint position error or a subluxation, and that creates so much neurological compromise. The brain cannot perceive what's happening. The brain has to talk through the whole spine, and if that neck is in a bad position, it can affect the whole healing ability of that whole system. Does that make sense? So we need to understand that neck. Now, I've done some artistic pieces related to Matisse, obviously, in my previous life. Now, this is the normal spine. We can see he's got a happy smile. We've got a nice curve, approximately 40 degrees. We've got approximately 40 degrees normal curve. Gravity's pushing you down, but we're happy. We're a functional system. This is analogous to a car that's been put in alignment by the guys at QuickFit, etc., and your car's running beautifully. We want that system to be working like that. However, through life, this can happen. We start losing the curve. What can cause that? Lots of things can cause it. Stress. Stress in terms of the big picture can be in 3 dimensions. Chemical, that's eating a lot of bad food, which affects our muscles and pulls our bones out of position. It can come from physical stress, whiplashes, forceps delivery as a baby, learning to walk and hitting your head and falling awkwardly, bike trauma, things that can happen years prior to causing these problems. So all of a sudden you've lost the normal curve of the neck. Your head is now gone forward approximately an inch or so. Now we know from research, every inch forward the neck or head goes, we double the weight on the neck. So the head normally weighs about 10 pounds. Now that neck is carrying approximately 24 pounds extra. How much stress is that? We know stress causes disease. That's a stressor to the body. The body health and healing is about a functional, efficient system. This is not efficient. So what we can see in these diagrams here is that when the head goes forward, and I'll just get my model here, that normal curve here should be like that, head goes forward. Then we start putting extra stress on the joints and the discs, especially the lower part of the neck. We start getting discs getting pushed out a little bit, and that could be a disc bulge, it could lead to a prolapse, etc. But this is because there's excessive stress pushing down. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, we can see this really unhappy guy over here. He's starting to get a reversal of curve. Now, that head's probably approximately 2 inches forward. So, he is now approximately carrying 36 pounds of extra weight, carrying his head around. Now the discs are bulging, we start getting osteoarthritis, because things aren't moving properly. And arthritis will start in this phase, we might just not see on an x-ray or a radiograph. Now, this guy is really struggling, but it's going to be affecting not only his spine, but also the stretch on the spinal cord and these nerves coming out. How is that affecting his healing ability? Because this is not efficient. This is not efficient. Gravity is really taking over. It's really mugging our system. And we have to understand that. How many people do you know walk around with heads forward like that? Then we go to number 4, this really unhappy person here with the reversal of curve. And you can see the disc bulges, disc prolapses, etc. And I can't count on all my fingers, I only have 10, the amount of patients who've seen us in 20 years who have reversal of curve, never knew it, had significant headaches, significant fatigue. Probably, I'd say 80% of my fibromyalgia chronic fatigue patients have a neck like this. Anyone who's got a bad head forward posture, significant, starts getting this with time. But if you have a neck like this and you don't do anything about it and really induce healthy spinal function, it's a one-way street. It's all going to go in this direction. And we're not trying to scare you, we're trying to motivate you to look after your spine now. You can't see it, you can't understand what position it is in, so it's well worth, even if you're not in pain, to come see a functional chiropractor like us at the clinic to assess especially your neck. So I hope this makes sense. We want a good spine, we want good disc function, we want good function. Just like you service your car regularly, service our spine. Thank you very much.